Imagine discovering a voice from the past so powerful it still echoes through the ages, shaping a faith followed by billions. Who was this voice? It belonged to Aisha bint Abu Bakr, a woman whose insights and teachings continue to enlighten us today. What secrets does her story hold, and how does her legacy influence us now? Let us find out in today's video. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, Naseeha Studio. Today in this video we will be talking about one of the greatest female scholars of Islam and the beloved wife of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The legacy of Aisha, scholar of Islam. Imagine the harsh, dry deserts of Arabia where the beginnings of a significant religious movement were taking shape, forever altering human society. In this pivotal era, a young woman named Aisha bint Abu Bakr rose to prominence. She was not only a close companion to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, but also a formidable intellectual in her own right. Aisha was born at a time when her society was on the verge of great changes. She received an education that was rare for her time, taught by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself. She learned the revelations and teachings that would form the core of the Islamic faith. Her learning continued even after her husband's death, marking the start of her role as a guardian of this knowledge. Her contributions to Islamic scholarship are deep and wide-ranging. Aisha taught many Muslims, both men and women, sharing her knowledge through numerous hadiths, records of the Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, words and deeds, which are crucial to Islamic tradition. Her insights into the Qur'an and its interpretations played a key role in shaping the theological and legal framework of Islam. Aisha was also politically savvy and spiritually profound. She was actively involved in the political debates of her time, influencing key events that shaped the early Muslim community. Her role in the Battle of the Camel is remembered not only as a historical episode, but as a testament to her political and personal bravery. This talk about Hazrat Aisha's life and legacy examines her intellectual achievements, her political activities, and her spiritual depth. Each aspect of her story highlights the influential role women played in the early Islamic world and shows the lasting impact of one individual's deep knowledge and determination on society. As we uncover the layers of Aisha's story, we are prompted to consider how her legacy influences today's views on women's roles in religious scholarship. What lessons can we draw from her teaching methods and her approach to religious and political leadership? Her narrative extends beyond a mere historical account of Islam. It is an ongoing conversation between the past and the present, urging us to rethink our views on religion, gender, and authority. Through her legacy, we are invited to reflect on the nature of wisdom and the true meaning of empowerment. Early life and education of Aisha. Born in the early years of Islam, Aisha bint Abu Bakr was destined to play a pivotal role in the religious and political developments of her time. Her father, Abu Bakr, was a close friend and trusted advisor of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and would later become the first caliph of the Islamic community. This relationship placed Aisha in a unique position to receive an education that was exceptional, not only in its depth, but also in its breadth, setting the foundation for her future contributions to Islamic scholarship. From a very young age, Aisha displayed an acute intelligence and an impressive capacity for memorization. These traits were nurtured in an environment that valued knowledge and debate. The teachings of Islam, which were being revealed and taught by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, were part of her daily life. Aisha absorbed the Quranic verses and the theological discussions that occurred regularly in her household, which was often the center of the burgeoning Muslim community in Mecca and later in Medina. Marriage to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Aisha was married to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, at a young age, a common practice in the context of 7th century Arabia. This union marked the beginning of her deep involvement in religious affairs. Living closely with the Prophet, she had a unique vantage point to observe his life and teachings, which she meticulously memorized and later conveyed to others. Her marriage thus became a conduit through which she gained unparalleled access to knowledge. Intellectual development. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, recognized Aisha's sharp mind and often engaged her in complex discussions about religious and social issues. This interaction was critical in sharpening her intellectual capabilities. Aisha's education was not limited to religious knowledge. She also learned about Arabic poetry, medicine, and genealogy, which were important for understanding the complexities of Arab society and for performing her future roles as a teacher and guide. Her aptitude for learning and her exposure to the multifaceted aspects of knowledge allowed Aisha to engage with and challenge scholars and leaders throughout her life. Her inquiries and interpretations of Quranic verses contributed significantly to the development of Islamic jurisprudence. Role as a scholar. After the death of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Aisha's home became a center of learning in Medina. Her detailed knowledge of the Qur'an and Hadith, sayings and actions of the Prophet, made her a sought-after source of wisdom. She taught many of the most renowned early Islamic scholars who relied heavily on her accounts to shape their own teachings and writings. Influence on Islamic thought. The breadth of Aisha's education and her subsequent role as a teacher illustrate the importance of women in the transmission of knowledge in early Islam. Her contributions are particularly notable in the field of hadith, where she is credited with narrating over 2,200 hadiths, which form an essential part of Islamic tradition and law. Through her early education and later experiences, Aisha not only preserved and passed on the teachings of Islam, but also used her knowledge to actively shape the religious, political, and social landscape of her time. Her life challenges the stereotypes of women's roles in early Islamic society and highlights the critical role education plays in empowering individuals to make significant contributions to their communities. This talk about Aisha's early life and education sets the stage for understanding her impact as a teacher and scholar. It paints a picture of a woman whose intellect and education enabled her to influence the foundational texts and practices of Islam, ensuring her legacy as a leading figure in Islamic history. Aisha as a teacher and scholar. Aisha bint Abu Bakr's life after the passing of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, exemplifies her profound role as a teacher and scholar within the Islamic community. Her direct experiences and diligent study under the Prophet's guidance positioned her as one of the most authoritative figures in Islamic jurisprudence and hadith scholarship. Her contributions as a teacher and her scholarly pursuits had a lasting impact on the development of Islamic thought. Establishing her role as a teacher. After the death of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Aisha found herself at the heart of a growing community seeking to preserve and understand the teachings of Islam. Recognizing her depth of knowledge and direct access to the Prophet's practices and sayings, many of her contemporaries turned to her for guidance. Her home in Medina became a hub of learning, where both men and women came to gain insight into the complexities of the faith. Aisha's teaching style was marked by an open dialogue and an emphasis on critical thinking. She encouraged her students to question and explore the meanings behind the teachings, facilitating a deeper understanding and helping to foster a scholarly community that was intellectually engaged and rigorously connected to the roots of Islamic tradition. Contributions to Islamic jurisprudence. Aisha's contributions to Islamic jurisprudence are particularly significant. With over 2,200 hadiths attributed to her, she provided crucial insights into the daily life and spiritual practices of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which became foundational to the development of various Islamic laws and ethical guidelines. Her narrations cover a wide range of topics, from detailed religious rituals to the Prophet's personal and domestic life, offering a comprehensive portrait of his character and leadership. Her expertise was not limited to personal matters. She also offered interpretations and opinions on legal matters, contributing to the shaping of Islamic law. Her decisions and judgments were often sought in resolving complex legal issues, demonstrating her respected status as a jurist. Scholarly influence and legacy. Aisha's influence extends beyond her immediate teaching environment. Her pupils included some of the most prominent scholars of the time, who would themselves become key figures in teaching and transmitting Islamic knowledge. Through these individuals, Aisha's teachings and interpretations were disseminated across the Islamic world, embedding her views into the broader tapestry of Islamic scholarship. Her intellectual legacy is evident in the many works of later scholars who frequently cited her insights and legal opinions. Her role in educating these scholars helped ensure that her interpretations and methodologies continued to influence Islamic thought well beyond her own lifetime. Challenges and recognition. Despite her immense contributions, Aisha's position as a female scholar in a predominantly male field was not without challenges. She navigated these challenges with assertiveness and a firm grounding in her knowledge, earning her widespread respect and authority. Her ability to maintain this position and influence over a long period highlights her extraordinary capability and resilience. Aisha's legacy as a teacher and scholar demonstrates the critical role women can play in religious and academic leadership. Her life challenges modern preconceptions about the roles of women in early Islamic society and provides a powerful example of intellectual leadership in the Muslim community. Through her vast contributions to Hadith and Islamic jurisprudence, Aisha not only preserved the teachings of Islam, but also shaped the interpretive traditions that define the religion today. Her story is a testament to the enduring power of education and the impact one individual can have on the development and preservation of cultural and religious heritage. Political influence of Aisha. Aisha bint Abu Bakr's political influence in the early Islamic community was both significant and contentious, showcasing her as a figure of considerable authority and involvement in critical affairs of the state. Her active participation in political events highlighted her deep commitment to the ideals of Islam and governance, reflecting her multifaceted role beyond religious scholarship. Involvement in early Islamic politics. Aisha's political engagement began soon after the death of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, during a period of profound uncertainty and transition for the Muslim community. As the daughter of Abu Bakr, the first caliph, and the widow of the Prophet, peace be upon him, she held a unique position that commanded respect and influence. Her opinions and decisions were pivotal in shaping the early political landscape of Islam. The Caliphate of Abu Bakr and Umar. During the caliphates of her father, Abu Bakr and Umar ibn al-Khattab, Aisha was a respected advisor whose counsel was sought on various matters. Her deep understanding of the Qur'an and Hadith made her a valuable resource in discussions that shaped the governance and policies of the Islamic State. Her influence was subtle yet profound, as she often acted behind the scenes, advocating for justice and adherence to Islamic principles. Role in the First Fitna. Aisha's most prominent political role came during the First Fitna, a civil war within the Muslim community that erupted after the assassination of the third caliph, Uthman ibn Affan. Concerned about the direction of the Muslim community under the leadership of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Aisha took a stand that would see her directly involved in military action, an unusual role for women of her time. The Battle of the Camel. The most striking instance of Aisha's political involvement was her participation in the Battle of the Camel in 656 AD. She led a group of dissenters who opposed the leadership of Ali, motivated by a desire to avenge the murder of Uthman and to eradicate corruption within the Islamic leadership. Although not seeking leadership herself, her decision to go to battle underscores her commitment to justice and her willingness to act on her convictions. This battle, named after the camel Aisha rode during the conflict, became a defining moment in Islamic history. It marked the first major conflict among Muslims and set the stage for the sectarian split between Sunni and Shia Islam. Aisha's involvement in this battle illustrates her significant, albeit controversial, political influence. Following the battle, Aisha returned to Medina, where she withdrew from active political life. Her later years were marked by continued teaching and transmission of Hadith, but were devoid of direct political engagement. However, her actions during the First Fitna left a lasting impact on the political narrative of Islam. Legacy of political engagement. Aisha's political life is a testament to her formidable character and her deep engagement with the issues facing the Muslim community. Her actions during times of political crisis demonstrate her leadership qualities and her commitment to upholding the principles of Islam, even at personal risk. Her involvement in politics, especially as a woman in the early Islamic period, challenges contemporary perceptions of gender roles within Islamic and political history. Aisha's life serves as a powerful example of a woman's ability to influence major political and religious outcomes, highlighting her complex legacy as both a scholar and a political figure. Through her political endeavors, Aisha left an indelible mark on Islamic history, demonstrating that her influence extended far beyond the realms of education and scholarship. Her life remains a subject of admiration and controversy, reflecting the enduring complexities of her contributions to Islamic thought and leadership. Aisha's personal wisdom and spiritual insights. Aisha bint Abu Bakr's role in the early Islamic community was not limited to her political and scholarly contributions. She also imparted significant personal wisdom and spiritual insights, which deeply influenced the ethical and spiritual life of Muslims. Her unique position as both the Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, wife and a leading figure in the Islamic community allowed her to share profound wisdom on matters of faith, morality, and personal conduct. Spiritual mentorship. Aisha's close relationship with Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, provided her with an unparalleled depth of understanding regarding his teachings and spiritual practices. After his passing, she became a key source of spiritual and ethical guidance. Her insights into the Prophet's life offered a personal glimpse into his character and virtues, which she used to educate and inspire the Muslim community. Her narratives about the Prophet's habits, his interactions with his companions, and his responses to various situations became foundational to Islamic ethics. Aisha not only conveyed information, but also interpreted these events through a spiritual lens, emphasizing the lessons they held for proper Muslim conduct. Contributions to Islamic theology. Aisha's contributions to Islamic theology extend beyond her scholarly work in hadith. She provided critical insights into the interpretation of Quranic verses and theological concepts. Her understanding of the Qur'an was deeply influenced by her direct conversations with Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and she often provided context and exegesis that were essential for understanding complex passages and ideas. Her discussions on theology often highlighted the compassionate and merciful nature of Islam. She emphasized the importance of understanding the spirit behind the law, advocating for a balanced approach that considered both the letter and the spirit of the divine message. Guidance on personal conduct and ethics. Aisha's teachings frequently addressed personal conduct and ethics. She instructed her students on the importance of honesty, humility, patience, and compassion, virtues she observed and learned from Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Her advice often reflected a practical approach to spirituality, one that integrated daily practices with higher ethical and spiritual aspirations. For example, she often spoke about the importance of prayer and reflection as means to cultivate a personal connection with Allah. She also discussed the social responsibilities of Muslims, emphasizing the need to care for the needy and to maintain just relationships with others. Wisdom in difficult times. During the turbulent times following Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, death, Aisha provided leadership that demonstrated both resilience and a deep commitment to maintaining the unity and purity of the Islamic faith. Her interventions in political and theological debates showcased her wisdom in handling complex and often dangerous situations with foresight and ethical clarity. Her ability to navigate the challenges of her time while adhering to her spiritual principles made her a model of strength and piety for both contemporary followers and generations to come. Enduring impact on spiritual life. The spiritual insights and personal wisdom of Aisha have had a lasting impact on the Islamic tradition. Her teachings continue to inspire contemporary discussions on spirituality, ethics, and the role of women in religious life. Her life as a spiritual guide highlights her multifaceted legacy as a scholar, teacher, and devout Muslim, providing a rich source of inspiration for those seeking to deepen their understanding of Islamic spirituality. Aisha's life story, rich with personal wisdom and spiritual insights, offers a compelling narrative of a woman who shaped the spiritual contours of the Islamic community. Her legacy as a source of wisdom and guidance remains a powerful testament to her profound influence on the development of Islamic thought and practice. Her legacy in Islamic feminism. Aisha bint Abu Bakr's legacy as a figure in Islamic feminism is profound and multifaceted. Her life and teachings challenge contemporary perceptions of gender roles within both historical and modern Islamic contexts, offering a powerful example of a woman who was deeply engaged in the religious, political, and educational spheres of her society. Aisha's prominence as a scholar and teacher in the early Islamic community illustrates the significant roles women can and did hold in Islamic society. Her authority in religious and legal matters, established through her extensive knowledge of the Qur'an and Hadith, positioned her as an equal to her male contemporaries. This breaks from the traditional narrative that often limits women's roles in religious spheres, showcasing Aisha as a pivotal figure in the development of Islamic jurisprudence. Her role did not stop at scholarship. Aisha was also a key political figure. Her participation in the Battle of the Camel, albeit controversial, highlights her agency in seeking justice and accountability, demonstrating that women in early Islam could hold powerful and influential positions. Advocacy for women's education. Aisha's efforts in educating both men and women underline her commitment to women's intellectual empowerment. By teaching a wide array of students, she fostered an environment where women were encouraged to seek knowledge and participate in scholarly discussions. This legacy is critical in Islamic feminist thought, which advocates for equal opportunities for women in educational and religious fields. Her teachings often addressed issues directly related to women, providing them with religious and legal insights that empowered them to understand and negotiate their rights within marriage, inheritance, and societal participation. This educational empowerment laid an early foundation for gender equality in Islamic contexts. Influence on Islamic feminist thought. Aisha's life as a prominent female figure in the foundational era of Islam provides a powerful precedent for Islamic feminists today, who argue that Islam, as a religion, supports the equality and empowerment of women. Her legacy is often cited to counter claims that Islam inherently marginalizes women, offering instead a narrative of active participation and leadership. Islamic feminists draw on Aisha's example to address contemporary issues such as gender equality, the rights of women in marriage and society, and the role of women in religious leadership. Her life challenges the patriarchal interpretations of Islamic teachings and supports a re-evaluation of women's roles in both historical and modern Islamic societies. Enduring symbol of empowerment. Today, Aisha remains a symbol of women's empowerment in the Islamic world. Her scholarly contributions continue to influence Islamic thought, and her assertive role in early Islamic history provides a model of leadership and active participation in societal affairs. For many Muslim women, Aisha's legacy is not just historical, but a continuing inspiration that informs their struggles for equality and justice within their communities. Aisha's multifaceted legacy demonstrates that the empowerment of women is deeply rooted in Islamic tradition, challenging both historical and contemporary stereotypes about women in Islam. Her life continues to inspire and empower a new generation of women who see in her a role model of intellectual prowess, spiritual depth, and social influence. Her contributions transcend her era, making her an enduring figure in the discourse on gender and Islam. Aisha's influence on modern Islamic thought. Aisha bint Abu Bakr's enduring influence on modern Islamic thought is profound and multifaceted. Her intellectual contributions, particularly in the fields of hadith and Islamic jurisprudence, continue to resonate within contemporary Islamic scholarship and debate. Her role as a teacher, scholar, and a figure of political acumen provides a rich legacy that modern Muslims draw upon to navigate the complexities of faith, law, and gender dynamics in today's world. Preserver and interpreter of hadith. Aisha's role in the preservation and interpretation of hadith cannot be overstated. As one of the primary sources of hadith, she contributed over 2,200 narrations, which have been crucial for the development of Islamic law and ethics. Her detailed accounts of the Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, life provide unique insights into his teachings and actions, serving as a critical resource for scholars interpreting Islamic law and theology. Modern scholars often refer to Aisha's narrations to gain a deeper understanding of the Sunnah, the practices of the Prophet, and to resolve complex issues in Islamic jurisprudence. Her contributions are particularly significant in areas concerning women's rights, social justice, and personal conduct, where her perspectives offer a balance of rigor and compassion. Impact on gender discourse. Aisha's life as a prominent, educated, and outspoken woman in the early Islamic community challenges modern stereotypes about Muslim women. Her active participation in educational, religious, and political spheres sets a precedent for the capabilities and roles of women within Islamic societies. Modern Islamic feminists cite her example to advocate for greater gender equality, using her legacy as evidence that Islam has a rich history of empowered women leaders. Her scholarly and political activities are frequently discussed in contemporary debates about the role of women in teaching and interpreting Islamic texts. Aisha's example is used to counter arguments that restrict women's roles in religious leadership and scholarship. Educational legacy. The emphasis Aisha placed on education and her role in teaching both men and women highlight the importance of intellectual pursuit within Islam. This aspect of her life is particularly resonant today, as educational empowerment forms a crucial part of Islamic reform movements that seek to adapt and respond to modern challenges. Many modern Islamic educational initiatives, especially those focusing on women's education, draw inspiration from Aisha's commitment to knowledge and learning. Her methodology of teaching through dialogue and inquiry has influenced modern pedagogical approaches in Islamic education, emphasizing critical thinking and engagement with the text. Aisha bint Abu Bakr remains a monumental figure in Islamic history, whose life and works continue to resonate across centuries. Her profound impact on Islamic jurisprudence, education, and politics not only highlights her significance during her own time, but also underscores her enduring influence on modern Islamic thought and practice. As we reflect on her legacy, it is clear that Aisha's contributions extend far beyond her immediate historical context, touching upon universal themes of justice, education, and empowerment. Aisha bint Abu Bakr's influence on modern Islamic thought is a testament to her profound legacy as a scholar, educator, and leader. Her life continues to inspire and challenge contemporary Muslims to reflect on the roles of women in Islam, the importance of education, and the ways in which historical figures can inform modern beliefs and practices. Her contributions not only enrich the understanding of Islamic tradition, but also empower ongoing discussions about the interpretation and application of Islamic teachings in the modern world. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more content celebrating the Islamic heritage. Your support really helps spread these important stories and teachings. We hope that Allah brings peace, happiness, and success to you and your family.